Right, so I've got this big box to turn up. Now, I already kind of know what's in it, but you don't know, so we shall open it up together. And I've got my blunt knife. Safety first. I've had more knife cuts from the edges of pieces of cardboard boxes than I have from knife blades. That's the real danger. Cardboard boxes, banning cardboard boxes. I feel this safety nice rubbish. Right. Well, I might need some more room. Well, last one to be well protected, I've done that. Let's try and figure out how to get this thing out of the box. The colour probably gives it away already, some people. Nice touch, put a bit of colour over the front to help protect the front. And there we go. It's a Rohde Schwarz CMU200. I did a bit of research on it and found which options I needed. Well, what I think I need anyway. And purchased one for the right price. Does it work? I don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully it works. It's an expensive perspective, it's not. Now I got this one for about $1,000 is in effectively. So it's about, I think I paid 700 US or something for it plus postage. Or 600 US, something like that. So not very much for one of these units. It's actually quite cheap for one of these. They're normally 2 to 3 times that price. So fingers crossed it actually works. It's got a bunch of ink connectors on the front here, so that's all good. So I'll do some testing on this soon, and we'll see what actually happens with it and see how it goes. Now it's supposed to be multi-voltage compatible. So it's just got 100 volt to 240 volt straight in the back there. And it's got various options on here. Not everything's populated obviously because it's only got what is installed. It's only very bare, it's not a fully option one, like it's got very little on it, which is fine because I don't actually need much on it. Most of the options these have, it doesn't need. This foot here is a bit loose, tighten that up, so is that one. The other two seem fine, they're slightly turned, probably doesn't matter. Let's tweak those up a little bit. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And it looks like it's in pretty good condition really. There's a little scratch on the top, that doesn't matter. Handle this side, it's got feet on it, scratch on the bottom, but yeah, who cares. It's got locking feet, so good. I shall power this up shortly and give it a try. It's got a slot here for something, I don't know what the hell that's for. Is that a PCMA? It's got some metal contacts in there to like shield it as it goes in, I think. I don't know, I'll have to figure that out. But the manual is 529 pages. That's the operating manual. 529 pages. Now I've sat down and tried to read through some of it, but it's just so long, it's just too much. So what I'm just going to do is what I usually do, which I've been criticised for doing, is to just turn the thing on, have a play around with, you know, and video what I'm doing, and figuring it out from a newbie perspective. Now, when I do that, I often get criticised for, oh, I should read the manual first, and so you actually know what you're doing when you go to turn it on. But well, the reason I do the videos in that format is that I like to give the perspective of someone which is doing it for the first time. And, you know, so I don't really think that the slating for not reading the manual first is very fair, really. You know, I don't think it's great because, yeah, sure, I haven't read the manual first and I look like I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I don't know what I'm doing. It's pretty simple. But that's what I try and actually, I do it that way on purpose. You know, I want to figure it out on camera and show how a new person using that piece of gear or whatever has to figure it out. And sometimes that kind of information is invaluable for people, like manufacturers, for example. You know, if they see how someone uses their user interface when they're not familiar with that user interface, it can give them insight on how to improve it. You know, I've written software in the past. I haven't really done it for ages now, but I have written software. I certainly do website stuff still. And part of that, it's always very interesting watching people use it because they use it in a way you don't expect. And then you learn from that. So manufacturers love to see people doing, using gear for the first time because it gives them insight on how people interpret it. Anyway, that's enough of waffling. Right, so there we go. There's the unit, and I'll have a play around with that shortly. Right, so I've taken this foot off for one of these feet, which is loose. So there was 2 loose feet, and I've tightened them both up. Well, I went to tighten one up, then I noticed it didn't quite seat properly, and it's actually it's obviously been hit sideways and it's bent it, and it's broken the inside parts there. This is PA 6.6, so polyamide 6.6, so nylon. I actually have some of this, so if I really wanted to, I could print a new one. If I design a new one, I might do. But being nylon means I can actually heat this up and bend it back straight again. If I get it hot enough just at that point, I can actually re-weld it back together. So I probably can just repair it. I'm not really too worried. I might video that, see how I go. I might look like an idiot, I don't know, but that's the plan anyway. So it's something minor, but otherwise all the other feet look okay. I took those off. Now these actually use you won't be able to see it, I think, but they use a torque screwdriver. So I have to use, get it focus, come on, somewhere, hold on, I'm using the other camera, here we go, come on here, right, so torque screwdriver like that, which you can hopefully see. I just happen to have the right one. I've only got one long screwdriver like this, and it's the right one. I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to go and buy some more, because my little screwdriver kit I've got, it's got a little long adapter which goes in a small bit. It wouldn't fit down that hole. It's the same size as the hole, it wouldn't actually go into it. If I did go in, I probably wouldn't get back out. So I was just lucky that I had the right torque screwdriver, which is a T15 by 100mm I've got on here. So T15, obviously, torque 15. So I'm going to have a little play with this and see if I can fix it up. I've already got my hot air station turned on. Right, so I've repaired the foot. So let's just see what happens with the power supply side of things. Now I haven't powered this up yet, this is the first time. So let's plug it in. Power it up. Okay, we now have mains going to the unit. Switch on the back, I should turn it on. Wherever that is, I've lost it. Where's the cable gone? Can't find it now, can I? Is that there? Where's the switch? There we go. Right, switch on the back. Green light's on. Stick on the standby. Fan kicked in. Right, let's see what happens. Let's dim some of his lights a little bit just to try and make it a little bit easier to see the screen. It's bound to be a little bit hard to see. Hey, brilliant. So far so good, at least the screen's working. As far as what's normal goes, I don't know yet. It's supposed to do a self-test on startup, which also gives you a list of options. Supposed to. There we go. So the B41 is one I was interested in, audio measurement. I'm guessing this is the self-test progress bar there. Software 5.21. Okay, well, it's on. That's a start, isn't it? So let's have a look and see how to use this thing. Now, generator options, apparently, menus, menu selection, here we go. base. Oh, it's just test menus. Awesome. Do a self-test when you start it, does it? Don't know. Good question. Now it's got to figure out how to use the thing. Oh, it says maintenance. It's not maintenance, do I? I just want to use it. Somehow or other. Yeah, RF. There we go. So yeah, I need to figure out how to use it. Analyzer power. Application. And these seem to be doing anything. I need to figure out how to select them. Enter. Is that right? I don't know. Spectrum Analyser. Here we go. Let's do that at least. So it's doing something. Analyzer generator. I need to figure out how to use this part. That's channel power as well. But the fact it's got a Spectrum Analyser, that's one of the main points for me is why I got this, because I was looking to get a Spectrum Analyser anyway, and I was looking for sort of, I don't know, it's going to cost $2,000 or $3,000 to get a decent Spectrum Analyser like a new one. I thought, well, I'll give this a go because this is cheaper, and if it does what I want, then that's absolutely fine, isn't it? So I have to try and get some gear set up and hooked up to it, and find some cables to hook up to this, and hopefully I can play around just to confirm it works. Alright, so I've got the Spectrum Analyser hooked up, well, the Analyzer section hooked up to my Siglent generator, which I've got set to 26.5 megahertz, and I've got it going at a 5 megahertz span with a centre of 26.5 megahertz, and there it is smack bang in the centre. So let's just adjust the span. Let's go down to 1 megahertz. It's pretty responsive. It's it also seems to be very pretty, bang on accuracy there as far as frequency goes. So let's just go 50 kilohertz instead. So here we go. Bandwidth, let's bring this down a bit. Increase the resolution. So obviously it slows it down when you do that, but it's 300 hertz bandwidth there. You can go lower. Let's do 100 hertz. And let's drop the span down a bit more. Let's go 25 kilohertz span. I should do 30 kilohertz. How do I delete that? Must be a delete back. No? Let's put in again. 30 kilohertz span. So it seems to be bang on frequencies, at least at these lower frequencies. Certainly can't complain about that. Resolution looks fine. So let's turn some modulation on and see what I think. So I've got it set to minus 20 dBm. It's close to that point. Obviously I've got a bit lost in the cable, stuff like that. I mean, who knows what the accuracy of my generator is, that kind of thing. Markers, let's have a look at this. Peak, here we go. 26.500027. This doesn't have a high resolution crystal oscillator or anything like that. It's only got a standard oscillator on it. So probably this is going to be slightly off, I'd imagine. If I hook this up to my 10 megahertz rubidium, it should be bang on. But I haven't got this set up right now. And the level is minus 21 dBm. I'm doing it minus 20, so within 1 dBm, that's not bad. Considering this isn't even an ideal cable since we're running to a BNC. Alright, so let's just have a look here and turn the modulation on. So this is 30% AM modulation. And obviously when it does the next sweep it should be a bit better. There you go, you can see the sidebands there. So that all looks absolutely fine. Let's just change the bandwidth a bit again. Analyzer settings, bandwidth. This is nice and easy to use. I mean, I'm picking this up pretty quickly. So what's the best resolution? I think the best resolution I've got on my HP is 859R. I think it's only 1 kilohertz, the best resolution you can do. I'm pretty sure. Might be 100 hertz. I can't remember. but this will go right down to 10 Hertz. So if I bring the span down again, so it doesn't take forever, let's do a 10 kHz span. And let's bring this bandwidth back up slightly, let's go 50. It's just taking way too long. Right, so there you go. Really good definition. I mean, that's excellent. So I don't need to buy a Spectrum Analyser if I can get this level of detail out of this thing. I just don't need it. This is absolutely fine. I'll go down to say 20 Hertz there. It's going to take quite a while, but it will do quite nicely. So I'm very happy with this. You know, even if I only got this for the Spectrum Analyser function, if that's the only thing that worked on it, it was worth the money. Because I was looking at 2 or 3 grand for a Spectrum Analyser, as I said. So minimum. Unless one of the manufacturers were going to give me one. I was kind of hanging out for that, but that's not happened. So who knows, maybe one day. So you know, this has cost me $1,000, and once I got the thing into the country and paid it, actually it's been more, max. I've had to pay taxes on it when it came in as well. So about $1,200 is in, and I've paid. So even if it's only for the Spectrum Analyser section, I mean, that's worth it. You know, I got this for a good price. They were sort of sitting around 2 grand US most of the time, so I got this one for a very good price. So this is why I went for it, because before seeing this one, they're out of my price range. I wasn't willing to pay that sort of money for one. But you can see, you know, 20 Hertz. Look at the definition in that. That's brilliant. So yeah, absolutely fine. So let's change a different modulation. It's going to do sideband modulation, I believe, as well. You can check the modulation aspects. I've got to figure out how to do all that. Let's change modulation on here to be FM. FM, let's do 2 kHz FM modulation. So there we go. 2 kHz, let's go 1.5. I should then cut it off the sides. Hopefully. We'll just have the span set to. I've got. I think it's covered up by this. It is. Span. 10 kHz span. So you're going to get some stuff off the sides anyway. But 1 kHz FM. I mean, yeah, it's 1 kHz spacings there. Thereabouts. So yeah, it's all fine. It's working, and that's the main thing. The modulation back off. So I'm very happy with that. That was a very good purchase. So I've just got to figure out how to use the other stuff. It's got the signal generator section as well, and you've got the switchable inputs and outputs. Now I need to figure out how to do the switching. I haven't figured that part out yet. So RF1 can take more power. That can take 50 watts. Means I can plug CBs directly into it and do direct testing. RF2 can only take 2 watts, so I can't really use that one, only as at least a very low level. Like I'm showing my signal generator into it, you know. So that's very low level. So unless I use a massive attenuator beforehand, then I can't really use that one. I don't have anything here properly set up to actually test the RF output from this yet. I could try and hook up one to Fluke's account. So I could do that, couldn't I? I'll do a modulation meter. Could try those. Let's get one of these counters fired up, and we'll hook that up to that and see how it goes as far as this output goes. So the RF is currently turned off, obviously, because I don't want to shove RF back into my signal generator. But you set the frequencies. That's not fine, so I might do 100 megahertz. Modulation. What options got? SSB, AM, double sideband, FM. Right, so we'll do AM, I suppose. Oh, that will probably mess up the frequency. Let's just leave modulation off for now. So really all I really need to do is hook this cable now up to my Fluke's account, and I should be able to measure the output from this. 0 dBm output, that should be enough for the counter. Let's hook it up. There we go. Oh, I've got frequency on there now. You've got options for changing so that they both come out the same channel, so I've got to figure out how to go and set all those things up. So yeah, I've now got a frequency on there, which is very close to correct, incidentally. Let's just drop this level down, see what I can get down to. Yeah, 0 dBm's pretty much still there. Yeah, that's fine. So let's chuck that back in the other channel counter. Let's bring the camera around. So the counter's still warming up. That's got an ovenized oscillator in there, so that's, even though it's still really close. That's 100 megahertz, don't forget. I've got about 1 second on the gate time on that. So this is probably out a little bit, and that's probably out a little bit. So once I get my rubidium set up, I'll be able to check the calibration and stuff like that and see how close it actually is, but it's still pretty damn close. It's at, you know, less than 7 hertz out most likely. If I increase that gate time very slightly, I can probably get the next stage. It's 1.8 second gate time right now. Try and increase the resolution slightly more. Unfortunately, it's brackets in the way, I'm afraid. So it's now a 10-second gate time. So yeah, it's like 6.4 kilohertz, 6.4 hertz out. Was it 64 hertz out? Something like that. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But yeah, it's working. The output's there. Accuracy, oh, I don't know yet. Let's plug it into this, and we'll see what this thing makes of it. This is a modulation meter. Let's see, we'll do. Yes, I set up for AM already, so we'll try AM modulation and see what happens on there, shall we? So this is set for 50% modulation. It's currently doing 51.6 according to this, but I don't know how accurate this thing actually is. It may or may not be quite right. So if anything, I'll be more inclined to believe the Rohde Schwarz output, because that's probably going to be a bit more accurate. Okay, so let's try a different level. Let's try 80%, 81.8 there. So okay, 100% mod. What does it say? 100.1. Okay, so 98. That's about a percent out there. Let's try say 10%. 11.6. So it's out by the same kind of amount right up. So I'm not quite sure if it's the Boonton which is out or the Rohde Schwarz. One of them will be. So let's just change to FM modulation. FM on here. It's just set to 50 kilohertz right now. Frequency 50 kilohertz. Let's drop that down. I just want to 1 kilohertz will be fine. And deviation is currently 10 kilohertz. And that's what's up there. Let's just go 20 kilohertz. Yep. Let's do 50. Yep, this is all looking pretty good. 70. Yep. 90. Yep, 92. It's really close. 100 kilohertz. Yep, 102. I mean, again, I don't know which one's more accurate, but I believe the Rohde Schwarz is probably going to be more accurate than the Boonton. I really expect that they will be 200 kilohertz, and that's out of range on that thing. I'm not sure what it goes up to. It's like 150 is maximum on the Boonton. That's okay. So, 2 kilohertz, 2.3 on there. So it all looks like it's really, really good. So I think this was a well judged purchase. There's no smoke coming out of it yet, which is always a bonus. But a few of them. I just got to figure out how to use it. So at least the Spectrum Analyser part looks like it's really good, and let's try high frequency on it. So I'm armed in a way in it. Try trying to record on a tripod when it's right in front of it. So I'll go back to Spectrum Analyser again. Actually, I'll turn the generator off. You have to have the menu off first before you can turn it off. Spectrum. Right. I'll try higher frequency with this. See what you get. So let's do RF carrier. Let's do 1 gigahertz, which is as high as this thing can go. And let's see what this thinks of it. So Spectrum Analyzer settings center. Let's do 1 gigahertz. There it is. Right, so something's off by a little bit. Well, my span is still only 10 kilohertz. So if I look at the marker, peak marker, so that's saying 1 gigahertz is at 617 hertz out. Most likely this thing, because it doesn't have an ovenized oscillator, and the Marconi does have an ovenized, and it's been on for a little while now, so it's probably stabilised. That one's really close to right. So it could be a little bit of both, but this one's most likely to be slightly off. So I'll find out when I do my rubidium tests on it and then see how it goes. But yeah, it's cool. It works well. So I'm happy with that. That's the two main functions I was looking for. Now it does do audio analysis as well. Power. Yeah, I don't know. I don't use that bit yet. And all these other options in here too. Power meter options. So let's see. What's this saying? Don't know. I really need to figure out how to use this. I really don't know how to use it. Is it? Not right now. Modulation off, it's like a overview menu, isn't it? Analyzer setting frequencies 110 kHz. Well, I don't want 110 kHz for that. I'm not sure. Frequency, here we go, 1 gigahertz. So yeah, it's pretty easy to figure out how to use it, considering I'm just playing around, and I have tried to read the manual. There's a few little things I've thought, oh, that looks interesting, like the fact it do sideband and things like that. But I don't tend to learn from reading the manual. I learn from sitting here playing around with it, which is why I tend to video it like that as well. Yes, I'm just going around tapping buttons trying to figure stuff out. So audio's in here. Which uses these, so you can inject a audio signal into a radio, then feed it back out from the speaker and measure the harmonic distortion and stuff like that. So that's stuff I need to figure out yet, because I don't know. But it looks like it's got both of them in there. It's got both options. I think that's the second one's an optional one, so obviously it's got that installed. Let's turn that back off. But yeah, I don't know if it's actually possible to analyse the audio as part of the IF signal. I don't know. Is it possible? Don't know what I was doing yet. All sorts of things I've got to figure out. So let's measure at 1 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz. Okay, so it's all pretty nice in that way. Generate frequencies, AC. There you go, that's the frequencies there. So you did two-tone tests, so for doing SSB, then I need to do two-tone tests on that. It works. At least everything I've tested so far works. I'm happy. Well, I've done a bit of a play around with this, and ignore the Spectrum Analyser setting there. I've just got it because it's looping back on itself, so it's seeing its own signal, so ignore that. What I'm doing is I'm calibrating the TCXO. Right, this doesn't have an OTXO option. This is only using a TCXO, which is like the lowest one there is for this, lowest accuracy. Despite that, it's actually still pretty accurate. Now, it was off frequency. Now, there's two calibrations I've gone through so far, which I'm going to show you what they are. Now, one is a 5-volt reference, which is actually underneath. It's a X221. There's a little test point set just under here. I'll bring it around the back a bit. Right on the bottom of the board, underneath, on the bottom of the board. So, I suppose I could tip it up and show you. Okay. Lighting may not be ideal, but we'll do that. Okay. So, there we go. So just there, got these test points up here. The very top one there is X221. And X221 is a 5-volt reference voltage. So it says to stick a SMB connector on there and test on that, but I can actually probe directly onto the back of the socket, so not a problem. I don't actually have SMBs, but it's a bit awkward to get in there to hook it up and stuff because it's right inside the casing there. So I probed on there, and there's a setting you have to set it to 5.000 volts plus or minus 1 millivolt. So I have actually done that. Let's move the camera over here a little bit more and I'll show you what I've got. Focus. So I've got the Siglent there running. There we go. And I'll just probe on there again and show you. I've already adjusted it. I'll just make sure it's still the same, hasn't shifted or something. Hope I'm not in the way of it. Let's see what I'm doing. Hopefully not. So I've got 5.0001. Okay, it can be plus or minus 1 millivolt, so I'm well within spec on that. It's a very touchy adjustment. A little fan here which doesn't seem to be spinning. I'm not quite sure why it doesn't spin. Maybe it only runs at a certain time. You've got to be really careful because it is powered on. It runs off a hard drive, so I mustn't knock it because otherwise it will damage the hard drive potentially. Alright, so those adjustments are on here. I'm going to show you that. Get the camera a bit closer again. So this board here is the reference board. Now, that is the voltage adjustment. That little hole just there, tiny little screwdriver. I'm using a 1.4mm screwdriver, and I think that might be slightly too big. And there's another little hole just here, which I can hopefully get in shot. There you go, just there. That is the TCXO adjustment. So we adjust this one first to get that other test point down the bottom there. Then you adjust this one here. Now what I've got to do, bring this back again. So let the camera work. So over here, I've got my frequency counter sitting there running. That is currently hooked up to the back of this Rohde Schwarz. Now, my counter is very slightly out. It's got a really long update time. It's about 10 seconds something. What was it? 8 seconds update time per gate, right? So it's got an 8-second gate time, which gives me that higher resolution. I can increase it slightly more if I need to, but not really necessary, I don't think. I think it's close enough. It's got slightly more than, exactly 10 seconds. So, let's move this out of the way. I'm halfway through reorganising the top of my bench as well. So, that's currently hooked up to the Rohde Schwarz, which will show you the 10 MHz reference from the TCXO, which is all fine. So you can see that's kilohertz, that's hertz, so that is was it 20 millihertz, 200 millihertz, sorry, 200 millihertz down. Okay, it can be within 500 millihertz. Now that's on that unit there, but if I plug this into my Rubidium standard, which I've got sitting here, which has been warmed up for, I don't know, half an hour now, something like that, so it's definitely well stabilised, and give it a chance to update its gate settings. Now Rubidium is obviously believed to be bang on. Look at that. So that's what Rubidium's generating. So this Rohde Schwarz TCXO is currently, as it's tuned, generating exactly the same frequency as a 10 megahertz rubidium. You know, slightly off. That last digit maybe is a 9, sometimes it's a 7, sometimes an 8. It's, you know, rounding slightly. So it's basically exactly the same as rubidium, right? Not much at all. I could do a phase adjustment on a scope and just check the phases between the two and stuff like that, but I sometimes get random 10 exactly. It's also just the rounding on the counter. But or maybe it's doing a self-correction on it. Does that little glitch every once in a while. I've seen that on there actually. So it does seem to be working, and I'll zoom out on this and show you the rubidium. So here's rubidium there. A bit dusty, but there it is. Okay. So that's what it's currently running from, right? Just on my frequency counter. So I could plug into the back of the counter and use that as a reference for the counter, and then look at the Rohde Schwarz. But this is, you know, as a transfer standard kind of system. You know, if that counts the same as that one, it should be the same. You know, so right. So that's that tuned. So I've got the 5 volt tuned. I've got the 10 TCXO tuned. So now if I generate a high frequency on this unit, I should get something pretty close to correct. It wasn't much off anyway. It's only slightly off, but it was off. It was in need of alignment. The other stuff, other alignment things to do, haven't looked into those yet. So thank you very much to my Patreon supporters. Much appreciated. If you're interested in supporting me to help me buy items from mailbag or projects to work on, you know, bits of test equipment to repair, that kind of thing, any money goes towards that is helpful, because it is expensive buying test equipment to do repairs on, especially if I'm not actually going to be using it that much, or it's something I could do without. Or, you know, as in most cases, you can do without things. So having a Patreon supporters and people that donate to me via PayPal is very helpful. So if you're interested in helping support me and you know, contribute to the channel, then please check out my Patreon page, my PayPal donation options, which are down in the description down there. Click on the Show More tab. This is down there. So thank you very much if you're not supporting me, or even giving more support. You know, getting some comments is also good as well. Comments in the videos. Prefer positive comments than negative ones. If you do want to be, you know, give constructive criticism, then please do. I do want to hear what people find annoying or whatever, but do it in a nice way. I don't want to hear shitty comments, because that's just not good for anyone. It just makes me not want to do it anymore. But that's not something I want to go to. I enjoy making videos, enjoy showing what I'm playing around with, and I've certainly been stepping up what I've been doing over the time I've been doing the videos. So it was just originally I was going to video bits of what I'm doing at the time. I was, you know, if I'm working on something, I'll do a video of that and slap it up, which was going to be rather random and erratic. And I've ended up basically turning my life into doing YouTube videos and buying things and trying to create content to keep you guys entertained. So yeah, if you want to support me, that's great, because that'll certainly be appreciated, because this is an expensive hobby. Catch you later. Thanks for watching. Click the bell icon. Bye.